Okay guys, hopefully you're still tuned in and haven't bored the socks off you already. So we're just heading down to St Andrews Hotel, which, if you've seen any of my other videos, is quite popular with the bikers and the custom car guys. And there's also a St Andrews Market, which is on the right hand side, so I'm expecting it to be very busy here. Yes, you can already see the cars. So St Andrews Market is has been going for years, and it's a bit of a hippie market. So if you've got nothing better to do on a Saturday morning and you got the blues, come round to St Andrews Market and take some deep breaths, and you'll be able to smell the marijuana there, the grass, the weed. Okay, so that's St Andrews Market over there to the right hand side. It's actually a great sort of morning out. Helps to come in the four-wheel drive because you can park somewhere up on the top. Now then, what do we like? And I'm really pleased about this because we're taking the back road up to Kinglake. This is a very narrow and twisty, windy road. Very popular with bikers, but it's so tight that, you know, you've got to be on a smaller sort of sports bike to get your knee down. Now, I actually rode up here, or drove up here with my parents and my family on the morning of Black Saturday bushfires. So we obviously, it was a very hot morning. We came to St Andrews Market, and the market, there was only a couple of souls there, and nobody really expected, you know, the level of devastation that went down. So we actually had a ride up here thinking we'd go up to the National Park Hotel, as it was called back in the day there. It's now Kinglake Pub. And we rode up here looking to get brunch. And when we got up to Kinglake, it was so hot and dusty and windy that there was just something about it that, you know, we just thought, let's not hang around here, and we actually dropped back down into Whittlesey towards where we live, or lived at the time. And you know, a couple of hours later the fires went off, and a lot of people perished. So, you know, we thank our lucky stars, or whoever was looking after us that day, that we didn't hang around. Yeah, we were very fortunate that we decided to come back down. So on this particular road, which will get quite spectacular in a minute or so, you couldn't see the valley below because it was all thick, dense bush, but that all got completely burnt out, and it looked like a scene from War of the Worlds, like, you know, maybe you're on Mars or something. Which it started to grow back now. But you know, you get a feel for just how much was burnt out. Very popular with cyclists. It's such a steep road. You know, they've earned the right to come belting down there, because it's very steep on the other side, or to go up this way is very steep as well. So it must be awesome for those guys. And as I said, it's so tight and twisty that a cyclist would probably leave you for dead coming back down here. Probably keep a little bit of commentary down now, because I need to concentrate. Like that. I don't actually come on this road very often because I just find it a bit too tight for my liking. I'll let you into a little bit of a secret, shall I? I dropped my bike yesterday. Or was it the day before? No, I think it was the day before. Nothing spectacular. I wasn't sort of doing a monster mono or a wheelie. I pulled up next to my mailbox and the bike rolled off the stand and it landed on the crash bars and the MotoBags, which actually saved the bike, I think. And I had a little bit of a cry about it. Not a lot of damage done, mainly to my pride, but I'm sure it won't be the last time. I know I was having a little bit of a whinge at the bike, at the cyclists, but they're fit guys. They're fit guys. I've got nothing against cyclists at all. It just annoys me when they do that old two abreast exercise. And again, they are actually legally entitled to do it. And in fact, they can go three abreast. You might not be aware of that. The third person is actually overtaking the other two. So, you know, if you follow a bad bunch, that's what they do. You'll get somebody constantly overtaking. Stuffed that corner up, didn't I? That's what I'm saying about this. It's quite tight. So I think I'm going to shut up and concentrate now. Okay guys, hopefully you're still with me. We're just coming up into Kinglake, and looks like we're going to pull up to regroup. So I'm probably going to cut out some of that last bit. I overcooked it on a few corners and you'll be sniggering at my skills or lack thereof. Alright, so I'll catch up with you in a few moments. Cheers. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Brief stop there to regroup in Kinglake, and thankfully for me and for you, so you don't have to see my crappy skills, we're onto a bit bigger roads now. I really find that tight road from St Andrews to Kinglake is just not to my liking. It's not so bad if you're by yourself because you can kind of go at your own pace, but when you're trying to keep up with people and you're conscious of the guy that's behind you, then yeah, but for me it's I don't have the skills. I'm no excuses, old guy, you know, that's why I bought a GS. But you can see what a beautiful day it's turned out to be. It's set to get much warmer when we get around these bends, or curves as you might call them here. When we get around here, I'll glance down and look at the temperature. Yeah, so we got 21 degrees showing on the TFT screen, but it's set to get up to about 33, which is a little bit on the high side. Luckily I've got the RST Adventure-X Jacket on, which is so clean and brand new it doesn't look like I've been on an adventure, I have to say. But it's got some great zip vents on the front, so I've just opened those up and we'll let a bit of air through now. Very impressive scenery around here. It really is a nice place. Yeah, it's amazing to think that, you know, somewhere so beautiful could be so deadly in the bushfires. We're on a little bit of an alert this weekend as well. As I said, it's going to get hotter. There is a heat wave on the southeast coast, which is sort of Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne and down to Adelaide. Now Melbourne or regional Victoria is going to get up to about 40 on Monday, so all you need is that sort of temperature with gusty northerlies, a little bit of a spark and you've got big problems. So we're all on alert for that. So I live in a bushfire prone area, so I'm going to make sure that I'm home for the next couple of days. So I think it was my last video or before one of my recent videos, I did a ride through the Black Spur, which is sort of a rainforest not too far away from here actually. Tremendous roads, sweeping bends, not too tight, amazing gum trees. Check that video out if you get a chance. But what I was saying on the video was that you really got to be careful through the Black Spur, because the police are out in force, and not only that, they hide in the bush with their camo gear on and their you know, their speed radar guns, and if they catch you, then you're toast. And I was just talking to one of the guys before we set off, and one of his mates got caught the other day through the Black Spur, and he's just lost his license for 3 months for speeding, and I think he was about 25 k's over. So you got to be really careful. I mean, we all like to go a bit quick sometimes, but if you need your license for your day-to-day job, then you've got to take that into consideration. So one of the things that I'm still getting to grips with the GS or GS Adventure is the gearing. I reckon it needs a lower gear. First needs to be lower. But the other thing that I do, because I'm a bit lazy, is I tend to ride it in too high a gear, because it's got lots of torque. But the problem with that is, on the twisties, then you can't use the engine braking for the corners, so you tend to rely too much on your front brake, which then throws out your geometry when you're going through the corner. So, you know, if you've been riding for any length of time or driving, you know, you get your speed off before you get to the corner, and then sort of accelerate and power out of the corner. So if you're doing that in too high a gear, it doesn't work too well on the GS, I find. Maybe it's because I've, you know, did my time on a ZZR 1100 Kawasaki. So I don't know if you can see in my mirror there's a lot of bikes behind me actually. I'm not sure how many we've got on the trip. I'll go around and count that up when we stop for a coffee. But it's a pretty good turnout, as they say. Now hopefully, although the GoPro does tend to flatten things out, hopefully you can see that amazing view of the hills in the distance there. Just going to give a quick shout out to the trip leader. I think his name was Tony. He's doing an amazing job, I have to say, of keeping everybody together. So we're just going to turn left onto the Melbourne Highway, which, as you can see, especially on a holiday weekend, is a busy stretch of road. So I'm just going to go a bit silent while I concentrate on this. Man, that is good when you stand up and get some air around the nether regions. That's near Holland, by the way, the nether regions, or is that the Netherlands? It's all Dutch to me, Matt. Well, I'm actually wearing today some motorcycle jeans with built-in armour. Hopefully I won't need it, but they're quite warm, I have to say. So I'm thinking it might be an excuse to go and buy some adventure trousers. I don't really need them, to be honest. I've never been off-road on this damn thing yet. I might get around to it though. The good thing about those is that they've got sort of still got the protection, but they've got zips to allow you to unzip, I guess, and let some air in. So quite twisty here. I'm not the only one that's hanging on to the brakes. Hey, I like this. This is awesome, I have to say. That I'm just going at a nice speed. Some of these guys are obviously very, very experienced bikers, and they're quite fast, and a lot of them are on bikes that are designed to go fast. The old GS is I think designed to go fast off-road, or maybe steady plodder off-road. Well, now I'm actually starting to enjoy myself. About half an hour ago I really could have done to be at home. I don't know if if anyone else feels this, but sometimes when I'm out for the day, whether it's in a four-wheel drive or on the bike, if I'm not really enjoying myself, I kind of wish I had this magic button that would just take me instantly back home without riding for 4 or 5 hours to get there. So about half an hour ago I could have pressed that button and quite happily gone home. But now through here I'm actually really enjoying this. It's fantastic scenery, as you can see, burnt off there in the distance. Twisty, not too tight, and we're not going like idiots. This is great. I'm really enjoying it now. No doubt the guys with the knee-down sports bikes might be finding this a bit boring, but we're getting a bit of a mixed bag. G'day, mate. Holy dooly, it's a warm one now. I'm glad I'm not wearing a leather jacket, and I've got my lightweight gloves on. Hey, on the brakes, gear it down. amazing countryside. If you're watching this from overseas and you've never been to Australia, then make an effort. But bear in mind, I mean, I know no one can go anywhere with COVID at the moment. Bear in mind, oh, we might just get on the left side for Australia. Bear in mind, it's a big country. I mean, I've lived out here, I think, 16 years, 15, 16, getting on to 16. And for business, I've been to, I think, almost every major city. But there's still so much to see. You know, you can drive to Sydney from Melbourne in the day, but you're looking at, I think it's about 13 hours. So it's a heck of a drive. I wouldn't want to do it all in one go on a bike, for sure. And then the opposite direction, Melbourne to Adelaide, is, I think, non-stop 9.5 hours, and I've done that a lot of times, heaps of times, as you'd say. I mean, but it's a fair old boring drive. There's bugger all to see on the way. Temperature's hanging around about 34 right now, and it's 10 to 1 in the afternoon, and I thought it was only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun, but apparently the Aussies do it as well.